The next piece is orifice size. How big is the nozzle? Orifice, nozzle, same difference. And we have different types of orifices. Not only are they sized differently, but they're shaped differently. Now here's a very small orifice on a brass nozzle, different material. Here's a plastic nozzle with actual 4 orifices coming out of one nozzle. Now obviously more surface area is going to give you more flow at the same given pressure. Now pressure and orifice size are directly related. The greater the pressure on a given orifice size, more flow. The greater the orifice size on a given pressure, more flow. And the converse is actually appropriate as well. If we have a given pressure and we drop the nozzle size, we'll reduce the flow. Now that's going to have an effect on how far it throws. We talked about the fact that greater pressure is going to be able to drive water out further to a point of diminishing returns. We can maximize the pressure on a given head to a point where once we go beyond that pressure, the droplets start to break up too much. We get too small droplets with too great a pressure, and we reduce the range. So you get this explosion effect coming out the nozzle if you get the pressure too high. We want to keep that water channeled so it comes out in a relative stream and pieces are breaking off all the way out. If the pressure is too low, it just comes out as a channel and no pieces break off. It's like a fire hose. If it comes out too great a pressure, it explodes out the nozzle, and it just, as it goes out the nozzle, it just tries to go every which way. It hits that air and it just splatters. And effectively you get lots of small droplets breaking off real fast. So you kind of destroy your effort. Every sprinkler is going to have its optimum pressure that it will throw it the farthest. We can have a turf spray head, just like around this building. We can turn that spray system on, and we can run it at 10 psi. These spray heads they're all 12-foot spray heads. They'll shoot at 10 psi. They'll spray water out, about maybe 8 or 9 feet. We get the pressure up to 20 psi. They'll throw it out there 12 feet. Nice sized droplets, looks like it's supposed to. We get that pressure up to 40 or 50 psi, it looks like it's fogging out there. It looks like you've gone out and run a spray rig out across the system. It just looks like a fine mist coming out of them. And you can just see the water with any gusts of wind at all. So the optimum for those sprays are 20, 25 psi. Conversely, we go out here to the big gun out in the turf, and we run that big gun at 10 psi. All that you would get would be that kind of a hose stream coming out of it and shooting maybe 15 feet, just a splattering out there at the end. We get that kicked up to about 80 psi on that 6/10 inch nozzle they're running, and we get optimum range. They'll throw about 120, 130 feet, a nice break up a pattern. You can just watch them and the water's just falling uniformly all the way out the pattern. Get beyond about 100 psi, you start getting that negative return again. They start atomizing too much water. Too many fine droplets. We start losing range, they won't throw as far, and we start breaking off way too much water in close to the head. So again, an optimum range, 80 to 100 psi is just ideal for that 100 series big gun. In fact, 100's getting on its upper edge. Might be almost too much. Jet angle. Jet angle, we have to be concerned about the height of the spray. The standard is about 24 degrees in that ballpark. to get maximum range out of a given head. There's a standard head, and if you were to measure the angle to horizontal, it's about 24 degrees. Now, to fight the wind, we do things like we put low angle. And so there's the same head at a 15 degree. So we've gone to low angle on that head. Now what that does is it doesn't allow the water to shoot as high up above the ground. Very beneficial in high wind conditions, or if you're up on top of center pivots. On center pivots, you're already up there 12 feet. You don't really need more height. Plus you're up into higher wind. You know, the higher you get above the ground surface, the more the wind is. So we're trying to keep that water in the same place that we're applying it without having it drift away. Plus we also want to keep it out of the atmosphere. We want to get it down on the ground as quick as possible to eliminate as much evaporation as possible. So low angle can be done. They make sprinklers as low as 0 angle for pivots. So that nozzle would be going straight out. Instead of at 15 degrees from horizontal, it would be going straight horizontal on the 0 degree sprinkler. Also, watering under crops. That's an extreme advantage to have low angle. So we get into orchard conditions, then all of a sudden we want to keep the water down under the limbs. So we want a short riser up out of the ground and try to keep that sprinkler shooting as low as possible down under the limbs so we don't get it up in the vegetation and destroy the pattern.